Good day. Now I will be discussing about pollution prevention. So this is reducing environmental impact at the source. So how is does the pollution prevention came from? So pollution prevention became the priority environmental option of the 1990s and the first decade of the 21st century. Pollution prevention attempts to handle waste at the source through voluntary actions and recognitions. So way back in the US, according to Environmental Protection Agency 2015, more than 250 million tons of municipal solid waste and another 530 million tons of construction and demolition waste were generated annually in 2013. So although the RCRA, the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act 1976, and the HSWA, the Hazardous and Solid Waste Act 1994, encourage businesses to minimize the waste they generate. So the majority of current environmental protection efforts are centered around treatment and pollution cleanup with subsequent fines and potential criminal penalties for non-compliance. And then and then um, the passage of the Pollution Prevention Act of 1990 uh, states that the redirected the EPA and industry's approach to environmental management. So in the later slides, we will be discussing what is the Pollution Prevention Act of 1990. So now industry continues to explore the advantages of multimedia waste reduction and to develop agendas to improve environmentally friendly designs while lowering production costs. So through pollution prevention attempts to handle waste at the source through voluntary actions and recognitions. So as waste handling and disposal costs increase, the application of pollution prevention measures is becoming more attractive than ever. So industries continues to explore the advantages of multimedia waste reduction and to develop agendas to improve environmentally friendly designs while lowering production costs. So there are significant opportunities and advantages for both individuals and industry to prevent the generation of waste. Indeed, pollution prevention is stimulated today not only by legislation and liability concerns, but also by economics and the enhanced environmental benefit of managing waste at the source. So opportunities for source reductions before are often not realized because many existing environmental regulations focus on waste treatment and disposal. So consequently, industrial resources have been focused on compliance with the treatment and disposal requirements. So as we have been discussed, according to the EPA Pollution Prevention Act of 1990 established pollution prevention as a national policy, declaring that waste should be prevented or reduced at the source wherever feasible, while pollution that cannot be prevented should be recycled in an environmentally safe manner. So this is according to EPA 1996. So this EPA policy establishes the following hierarchy of waste management. So these are mga source reduction, recycling, treatment, and ultimate disposal, which have been discussed that um, on my previous report. So according to figure 1.1, depicts the EPA hierarchy of preferred approaches to integrated waste management and ultimately pollution prevention. So as one proceeds down the hierarchy, more and more waste is potentially generated and more energy expended in the management of this waste. So as is illustrated by figure 1.1, integrated waste management may be broken down into four major components with a more delineated of integrated waste management and pollution prevention options, as depicted in figure 2. So the extension of pollution prevention activities to include not only waste reduction, but also energy conservation and accident and emergency management is provide management, and then along with a host of other related pollution prevention topics, including source reduction and recycling. Now, so we see the Pollution Prevention Act of 1990. So it is a significant piece of United States environmental legislation aimed at reducing pollution through cost-effective changes in production, operation, and raw materials use. So the Pollution Prevention Act of 1990 was enacted to increase interest in source reduction or pollution prevention and encourage adoption of cost-effective source reduction practices. So according to the Act, it is the policy of the United States that pollution should be prevented or reduced at the source. So the primary focus of PPA is to prevent pollution at the source rather than managing or cleaning it up after it has been created. So I summarize up the four key objectives of PPA. So the first one is source reduction. So the importance of reducing pollution at its source. So this includes modification in production processes, material substitution, and conservation techniques. Next, we had the um, environmental hierarchy, wherein establish a hierarchy for waste management practices. And then the next one is information dissemination. So to promote the dissemination of information on effective pollution prevention methods. And lastly, so encourage industries to adopt pollution prevention techniques to various incentives. So these are the key objectives of PPA. So according to this act also, there are major provisions such as the policy declaration, establish pollution prevention as the national policy, focusing on the reducing the amount of pollution generated. And then the second one is the EPA responsibilities. So um, EPA must develop and implement a strategy to promote source reduction and then facilitate information exchange through technical assistance, outreach, and training programs. And then next one is pollution prevention information or clearinghouse. So wherein it must PEPA must establish a national clearinghouse to provide information on source reduction. So it includes technical information, case studies, and research findings. Next one is the data collection. So it requires collection of data on the amount of pollution prevented through source reduction practices. And the last one is having grants and funding. So authorizes the APA, the Environmental Protection Agency, to provide grants to states for the development and implementation of pollution prevention programs. So, so these are mga implementation strategies such as technical assistance, um, so provide support to businesses in identifying and implementing pollution prevention opportunities. And then educational programs. Yes, so must develop and disseminate educational materials just like as we have right now and programs to raise awareness about pollution prevention techniques. Next is research and development. So promote research on innovative pollution prevention through technologies and practices. And next is the public-private partnership. So um, encourage collaboration between the government agencies and private industries to share knowledge and resources for pollution prevention. So these are the impacts and benefits of pollution prevention. Number one, environmental protection. So number two, um, e- so through environmental protection, we minimizing the generation of pollutants, and then also um, our conservation. It includes also the conservation of resources. Next is economics efficiency or economic savings. So it will reducing waste can lead to significant cost savings. So for businesses, through lower waste disposal costs, reduce raw material use, and improve operation efficiency. At the same time, through economic savings, companies that adopt pollution prevention practices can improve their market competitiveness by reducing costs and enhancing their reputation for environmental responsibility. Next is the development of new technologies and processes that are more efficient and less polluting. Next is other impacts and benefits is the public health. Oh, through minimizing pollutants at the source, it decreases the exposure of communities to harmful substances, leading to better public health outcomes. And at the same time, um, minimizing it will also the cleaner environment reduces the incidence of pollution-related diseases, so thus improving the overall quality of life for individuals. The next one is the sustainable practices. So, pollution prevention focuses on sustainable practices that provide long-term environmental and economic benefits. And then at the same time, so encourages businesses to adopt sustainable practices that align with global environmental goals such as reducing carbon footprints and promoting circular economy principles. And then the last one I would like to add is the um, regulatory compliance. So it helps industries stay ahead of regulatory requirements, reducing the risk of non-compliance penalties and enhancing corporate social responsibility. So now we proceed an article so which named as the impact of pollution prevention on toxic environmental releases from U.S. manufacturing practices by Ranson, Keenan, and Tetelbaum. So they examines the effectiveness of pollution prevention strategies in reducing toxic releases in the U.S. manufacturing facilities. So this way back from 1991 to 2012. So utilizing data from the U.S. EPA Toxics Release Inventory Program. So the authors conducted a quasi-experimental retrospective evaluation to evaluate the effectiveness of resource reduction. And then, um, so one of the methods, no, in regarding the source reduction, they categorize. So the first one, good operating practices. Second is spill and leak prevention. Then next is surface preparation, and the last one will be the finishing. So So this study, found that the implementation of pollution prevention projects, lead to a 9 to 16% decrease in the releases of targeted toxic chemicals in the year of implementation. So this reduction apparently significant based on the type of pollution prevention technique used. And then effectiveness of different techniques, such as raw material modifications, were among the most effective strategies in pollution prevention. And then causing significant decreases also in toxic releases. And then overall impact, so it reported by approximately 25,550 or 5 to 14 million bounds of toxic releases. They eliminate between 5 to 40 billion pounds of toxic releases. So I think from this study, highlights the importance of pollution prevention techniques as a cost-effective and efficient means to reduce environmental pollution. So it also suggests that the promoting these techniques can lead to substantial reductions in the environmental and health risks associated with toxic chemical releases. So I think so this article underscores the significance of voluntary pollution prevention measures in mitigating the environmental impact of industrial activities and offers valuable insights for policymakers to enhance the future environmental regulations and support sustainable manufacturing practices. So future direction, the future of pollution prevention will likely involve. So our first one is the advanced technology. So there will be um, more continuing development and adoption of green technologies and practices. So this includes mga green chemistry, renewable energy sources, and sustainable manufacturing processes. Next one is the policy and regulation. So it strengthens and expands the regulatory frameworks to enforce pollution prevention measures and incentivize sustainable practices across various sectors. Next one is the community engagement. So it enhancing the public awareness and involvement in prevention through education, transparent reporting, and participatory decision-making process. The last one is research and innovation. So ongoing research to identify new pollutants and understanding their impacts and develop innovative solutions for their prevention. So lastly, so again, pollution prevention so is a critical strategy for achieving a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable environment. So by focusing on the source pollution prevention, so practices offer numerous environmental, economic, and public health benefits. So embracing this pollution prevention not only helps protect the planet, but also supports economic growth and social well-being. So through innovation, efficiency, and responsible management, pollution prevention paves the way for a sustainable future. And then aside from that, so the PPA, the Pollution Prevention Act of 1990, highlights no, the shift by establishing source reduction as the primary strategy for managing pollution. So it underscores the importance of preventing pollution before it occurs, so promoting the efficient use of resources and encouraging industries to adopt innovative practices that minimize environmental impact. So So that would be all about the pollution prevention. So thank you and hope you have learned something new. Thank you.